Hi everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by WeUni in partnership with Tomorrow University of Applied Science. My name is Federica, nice to meet you all, and I'll be your host for today's event on behalf of WeUni. I see here that the first people are already starting to join in, so we're gonna wait just a few minutes before starting to allow everyone to connect. In the meantime, feel free to say hi on our chat here on Zoom, and please tell us where are you from. We are curious. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us today and thank our panelists for being here with us today. As you can see here, I'm not alone, and I see that the number is increasing, so many more students have joined us in the meantime, and I want to introduce you all to the upcoming panelists. Dr. Thomas Funk, co-founder and co-CEO, Ellie Bovard, alumna, Richard Mending, current students. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Today, our speakers will show you how online education empowers you to study from anywhere, balance commitments, and build a global network, all while gaining real-world experience and skills that drives career success. You also have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them questions. Talking about that, I'd like to remind you that at the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to ask a direct question to the panelists. So don't be shy and just type all type of questions that pops up in your mind. And we will go through them at the end of the presentation here on Zoom. Also, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by WeUni for this webinar, stay tuned because we will post the link at the end of the webinar. So I think we can continue with our agenda while welcoming those who just joined us in the meantime. And I leave the floor to Dr. Thomas Funk.
Yes, hello everyone. Really pleased to be here. Welcome from my side. I'm the founder and also founding president of Tomorrow University, and I'm always pleased to introduce Tomorrow University, the learning model behind and everything that makes us passionate and learners at Tomorrow University happy. So if you allow me, I will share my screen. I will just walk you briefly through why does Tomorrow University exist, what is the learning model behind, and then also hand over to two of the, I would say, most inspirational students we ever had, Richard and Eli, both now in the team of Tomorrow University, but they also are both very literate when it comes to our learning because they both have been students at Tomorrow University. So Tomorrow University is a new kind of a university. And we have been, I would say, lucky to be able to have a learning model as we have it. Because if you think of universities in the past, not just decades or centuries, but since universities exist, if you think of 1,000 years of history that universities have, there has not been much innovation when it comes to learning. So the terminology of university, diving deep and understanding it, is really interesting per se. So the one thing is, in the term, it already says it's united in diversity. So you are actually bringing together a very diverse group of people, a community of scholars, a community of teachers, and a community of learners. That was the original idea of a university. So it's a place for us to learn through curiosity, to come together to actually dive into a certain subject and then build a community and learn, upskill yourself, develop yourself. That's the original purpose of a university that hasn't changed. However, the way how we teach, the way how we educate ourselves has really not changed in the past 1,000 years. And one number I think perfectly exemplifies this into where we have gone as a humanity, and this is the number of 30,000. You may now wonder what's this number of 30,000? And I'll just give you that answer and not quiz you. But there is, in the past years and decades, there are 30,000 books that have been written on how to make our lives easier. And just imagine this. It's nice to have an easy life, right? It's nice to have a convenient life. Much of the technology, much of the innovation that we have seen is making our lives easier, more convenient. Things are becoming more accessible. And it's been the same that we've seen when it comes to education, right? We can now all of a sudden access knowledge from all over the world. So you can access content from Stanford, from Harvard, from Oxford, from Cambridge. Super nice, in a very nice and digested format and video formats. Very often it's also called the Netflix of education, right? Knowledge is made accessible. That's great. That does not mean, though, that we can actually learn, because learning happens when you're applying things. This actually means that you're taking the knowledge and applying it through action. And this is the missing piece that we have not yet seen, not only in the online and remote learning environment, but in general, only sporadically. You have many great universities that move from passive knowledge consumption, the more negative term would be Netflix of education, towards active and challenge-based learning, because you actually learn in a very, very different way. You don't learn through just reading books or just watching videos. I'm not saying this is not relevant, but you have to actually apply this knowledge in a real world context. And in the learning scientists world, this is known since roughly a decade that this type of learning is twice as effective as the traditional knowledge consumption. So sitting passively in lectures, listening to experts is good, and especially if it's great content generated out there. However, going beyond is actively applying that knowledge. And this is exactly the learning model that we have been so fortunate to design as a fully fledged European accredited university, which is all about challenge-based learning. Which means, and this is what you can now see throughout. So there have been many other universities following, some also partially taking the lead in certain segments, where it's really about the university becoming a content repository, having the freedom to really understand or generate even great new technologies and theories, and then letting the learners apply this knowledge in real world challenges. And this is what we have built in our learning technology. We have made challenge-based learning possible. And through challenge-based learning, you can actually grow relevant competencies of the 21st century. In our challenges, it's not just case studies or it's not just projects that you work on, it's real world challenges. Just to give you one example, we have one of the largest logistics companies of Europe that provided us with the data set of all the parcel delivery in one big German city. And they said, well, we need to optimize our AI algorithm in order for our drivers to navigate better when they deliver parcels. Not just that we want to reduce our CO2 footprint, but we don't know ourselves how to do that best. So could we actually work with your students on that challenge? So it's actual challenges that our partners are facing that they provide within our curriculum, and then our learners can work on these challenges. It's all relevant, real world problems, and you actually see the university, our learning technology, as a content repository that you access while learning. And you see that a challenge is a 3-week sprint. So you have live sessions where you engage a lot with the community, where you engage a lot with the experts. You have a kickoff at first, then you have a course discussion in the middle of it, and you have a reflection session. And Richie will introduce more of that logic in a couple of minutes. But it's you really starting off with a problem statement, and then in teams or solo solving that problem statement while being provided help, while being coached. So the professors are the ones that actually guide, that mentor. It's not the ones that just talk at you as the superiors. That's absolutely not the idea. It's eyes level learning where everybody really collaborates on solving that problem. And this is exactly what's needed in the 21st century, because it's about solving problems. And there is no predetermined answer to questions that teachers ask you. We cannot treat us humans as factory workers only anymore, right? Where we are in shifts working from 9 to 5, seen as, just think of the terminology, human resources, right? This is how we speak of factory models, but that's not the economy in the 21st century. Humans are not necessarily resources, right? Think of the terminology of head counts, right? We are human beings, right? Not human doings, human beings that are emotionally intelligent, that are creative. And these are the competencies that we want everyone at Tomorrow University to learn in our fully fledged bachelor's, master's, and MBA programs. So they're all fully accredited, but following that new logic. It's not new, actually, it's proven by learning scientists, but that logic of challenge-based learning, while it's very social. So you're connected in the community. Doesn't mean you're working remote, learning remote, and you're socially isolated. You're not. You're actually connecting with a lot of peers, mentors, and experts, and it's flexible. And that's the three distinct things which make it unique. Flexible in the sense that you're not bound to a location. You don't have to go to a physical place to study. You can study from everywhere in the world and access that beautiful community, as said, being united in diversity. One important fact, additionally, there's no exams. This is what many learners are very happy about. So as said, we don't reproduce knowledge and then ask you if you actually learned it. We assess the learning through the application. Speaking of competencies, this is super important. There has been quite a lot of research going into what are the competencies that are actually needed in order to have an impact in the 21st century. A university is not only about getting a job or being job market ready. Yes, that should definitely be one of the outcomes, but it goes beyond. It's about finding your meaning and finding your place in a world that actually needs you. And that's why we say we educate for 21st century skills. And this has been a wonderful global research project of many, many bigger universities under the umbrella of the 21st century competencies, trying to understand what is shaping our environment, what is shaping our world nowadays. And there is many things such as technologies, new technologies such as AI, not that new. We're talking about AI since 70 years, but now we're seeing the impact of AI, which leads to a world that is uncertain, that is moving fast. So, what do we humans actually need to prepare for this world, to thrive in this world when it's very uncertain, moving fast? There's global political tendencies that you can also observe. But what is it that we can empower ourselves with? And that starts, and this is the competency framework based on the research that I just talked about, that you will see as an underlying factor of all of the curricula that we have designed. So first and foremost, we educate for self-empowered individuals, individuals that are super strong when it comes to knowing their worth, being capable of judging their strengths and their weaknesses, managing themselves, but also emotionally intelligent individuals, emotionally and socially intelligent individuals, working in a context. Emotional intelligence also means trying or being able to communicate, to collaborate. That's the second. But then also entrepreneurial thinking and acting, trying to develop new solutions such as products, business models, or being intrapreneurs and leading and transforming larger organizations, which is what we focus on in our MBA, for example, on leadership and transformation. But then also technological literacy. It's about understanding technologies and applying technologies. We have one bachelor fully focused on sustainable technologies and AI, where you learn all about that modern technology, but not only understand it, but you actually build models. You build machine learning models, you learn about deep learning, neural nets. That's in a bachelor. And then we have a master in data science and also AI. So technological literacy is the fourth competency. And then we all pair this with sustainability thinking. It's one of the things that we really need in the 21st century to think beyond, way beyond the traditional logic of an economy, which is thinking in KPIs, financial returns, competition. We actually need a new logic of doing business. We need a new logic of working together. And that feeds into that bigger topic of sustainability thinking, which is environmental, social, but also about new forms of governance. Topics like climate accounting, we foster and look at problems, big problems like climate change. So that in every program, there's a huge amount of sustainability and impact, where you really become the change maker of the 21st century. And last but not least, otherwise it also wouldn't be a university, it's about your cognitive proficiency. Meaning, yes, we want you to be smarter and we want you to actually grow your critical thinking and analytical thinking. So that's the six major competence areas, and all of our programs were designed based on these major competencies. So, for example, in the very first challenge that you would do if you enroll to a bachelor's, to a master's, to an MBA, you'd have something called mission identification, first module, where it's all about you. You dive into what is important to you, and then you build your entire study based on that. So we personalize your path based on what is important to you. If you say, I'm an absolute advocate of, or I really want to do something against climate change, build your mission around that. If you say, for me, it's really about applying technology for the greater good, then dive into the tech area. This up to you, and you can tailor your path in our programs based on your personal preferences and motivations. And for that, we have built a learning technology that actually guides you and personalizes your learning experience. So this is the unique thing about Tomorrow University. Yes, it is challenge-based. Yes, it is social. It is flexible. Per se, though, this is no rocket science. There are universities that follow this learning logic out there. What makes it unique is that we have developed a learning technology that actually guides you and functions as a pathway finder for you so that you can actually dive into the competencies. And then in the second phase, when you actually dive deep, you can go in different directions. And we, as university staff, we help you with it, but also the technology guides you. And this is not where you decide for a curriculum and then the curriculum is stiff and is the same for the next 4 years or 3 years or 2 years. No, you can adapt based on your preferences and all at the same time, it being very, very application and real world focused. Before I hand over to Richard, who's one of the brains behind the technology, who was not just the one that experienced it as a learner, but also is one of the core and great developers we have in the team. I just want to tell you a couple more things. So the experience is not just an academic experience, and this is super important for me to mention because it's not only, I think it's great if you grow competencies in these 6 areas that I mentioned, but it's at the same time inherently social. So we truly believe, and I said that in the very beginning, we truly believe in the community. We truly believe in the diverse community. You would meet learners from around the globe. We have learners from all continents, apart from the Antarctica. So Eli, actually, well, Eli, you tell your story where you are coming from, but living, I think, for a while in Spain, but not originally from Spain. We have learners tuning in from Norway, from Trinidad and Tobago, from the US, from India, from Albania. I saw some of you saying coming from Greece. So we have a global community, and this is the beauty because you can learn all of the different cultural backgrounds as well and do things with them together. If you ask me what's the number one thing that excites you about Tomorrow University, to me, it's the people. It's the community that actually come together, believe in changing the world by changing themselves, by developing their better version. And this is really what makes us and the community unique, because the people really believe that personal development is what learning should be. This is not upskilling for the job market, right? It's not only preparing for the job market, it's truly developing yourself to a better version of yourself. So community is important, and that paired with competency plus the third thing, purpose, meaning that you know what you actually want to work on, leads to you having an impact in the world. And we have seen learners starting their businesses. We have seen learners becoming CFOs of organizations. We have seen learners like Richie being a CTO of a startup and then joining a wonderful university as a tech, as a developer. So there's super great careers that you can see. So the outcomes are always very community, but also purpose driven. It's really about purposeful careers that you embark on when you would actually join Tomorrow University. So in the end, it's about a lot of different people that you're exposed to, but these different people form one big community. And that community really is what makes Tomorrow University stand apart. We're close to 1,000 learners from around the globe now being enrolled at our programs. And as said, we offer bachelor programs in the more management, business, entrepreneurship direction, in the tech direction. We have a Master of Arts program, Master of Science program, and an MBA program, and multiple opportunities. But Eli will also share a few words about these very concrete offerings later. And yeah, I'd love to hand over to Richard because I already said that the actual very interesting thing is also the learning technology and how learning looks like at Tomorrow University. Richard, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Thomas. Yes, I would like to welcome you again. My name is Richard. As Thomas mentioned, I'm a software developer at Tomorrow University, but previously I was also a student in the master's degree. And that's why I would love to show you our app and sprinkle it a little bit with some personal experiences from times during my studies. Let's share my screen. So imagine you signed up for a program with us, just signed into the app, you get to this exact page. A lot of information here, but basically it's very easy. So at the top, you see the next challenge you need to do. And it's one of my favorite ones. I'm a developer. It's technology revolutions. We will go and dive deeper into this specific challenge in a second. But then you see all the things you need to know, like as a student. You see your next live session. So when do you need to attend the online campus? And on the other hand, you see the deadlines. When do I need to do what? So you can sort yourself and know what to do as next steps. If we go down a little bit further, you see a lot of help. So we help you on to understanding what the program is about, understanding what the different phases we have in our programs are about, and how the program works. But I think we are today here for learning. So we want to go and learn more about the programs. And I myself are currently enrolled in the AI and Sustainability Technologies Bachelor, and you can see it on top directly. This is your program which you're enrolled in. But what I really love about the app, and I think Thomas, if you can remember it, Thomas mentioned it a few minutes ago, the competencies. You see the competencies here in the app, and they will grow over time. They will keep increasing as soon as you learn things in the app, do things in the app, and over time you will see that this keeps on progressing. And I personally love this and love to see myself evolving over time and getting better. But now let's go to the interesting part and go to the part of my program. So the AI and Sustainability Technologies. The programs are all separated into different phases: the orientation, calibration, elevation, and activation. And in the end, you graduate the program. You can click through the programs and see what each phase is about. But for easiness, we just go with the first phase, which is orientation. You will learn here what the orientation phase is, because probably you never heard about it before and you never had it in a different program. You learn what you need to do, and what are the things you need to know for this specific phase. In this phase, you can do many different modules. We list them here, and you can join them, can go to the modules and learn in the modules. And my favorite one, as I mentioned before, and we saw it in the beginning, is the technology revolutions. Let's go directly there. So we have this module, and let's imagine I joined this module just a second ago, and I'm really excited to now start it. On the left side, I see a video from the challenge owner, which is Christian, the other founder of Tomorrow University. And it's amazing to have like challenges with amazing people like Christian and learn from him or learn together with him in the challenge. And you can see the video, but also see the introduction, what this module is about, what you will learn, what other things you need to do in a really easy way. Then on the right side, you have your tutor here in this case, and also a Slack channel. So you're never alone while learning. You can go to Slack and reach out if you have a question to the specific module. There are a lot of other students who like to help, or the team who is always there to help you. The tutor is also there for you and will also in the end grade your assignment, but more to this later. But then the milestones. The milestones are the parts of the module you need to finish until you can finish the whole module. So the first milestone, as Thomas mentioned, would be a kickoff. You will join the kickoff, we'll go to our platform, which is like, it's like a video game. It's called Cosmos, and you go there and it's like a really nice video call experience, way more interactive than Zoom. You can really interact. You can go over our campus and have a really, really great time. And I personally always love these discussions because it was always not like a lecture, like you didn't go there and just somebody telling you and you were like just listening. It's really like a discussion. You go there, see your peers, see the challenge owner, and have a really good time and learn a lot along the way. But then after you did the kickoff, you go to the learning. And then each milestone you can learn from different lessons. So again, you learn on the left side, you can learn what is this specific milestone about? What will you learn? What are the things I will learn in the learn from the past in the specific module? And let's go and learn some of the first lessons. In this case, I already did it, so we will jump back a few steps, but I will give you more infos on it now. So you begin with this lesson, and in this lesson, you see again, I will learn, for example, the history of technology, which is very interesting to see how we end up, like how we are where we are today and how we get there. So then you can start, and you see it's like really bite-sized lessons. It's not that you have to read like really long articles, or like the professor gives you a book and say, please finish it, and we will talk about it. It's really bite-sized, so you can read the text, get some pictures, for example, or graphics, which help you to understand the topic. Or we have quizzes. In this case, I already answered it for you, so it is easier. But we have quizzes to help you not only read but also interact with the content. But it's just some of the small things we have every lesson, and every lesson is different. And for example, we also here can use this the app to like try to understand really what is happening where, and really interact with the content, and not just reading it or consuming it. So imagine you finished all the lessons and everything of the Technology Revolutions program. Then all the boxes here would be checked, and in the end, there's just the capstone project, missing. So as Thomas mentioned, there are no assignments. So as Thomas mentioned, there are no exams. I mean, there are no exams in the end, and that is true. Like, I never had any exam in my master, which is great because I hate exams. But I really had amazing projects, amazing capstones I need to deliver. And here, for example, you will see what you need to do on the left side again. You learn what there are the things. In this case, you need to write a trend impact report, and also a video presentation. And then you can see the assessment criteria we assess the project you do on. And you can really look into it and think like, these are the things I need to look out for. These are the things I learn, like the competencies I learn in this specific module. In the end, what I really liked always was that I not just finished the project, handed in my capstone, and then I got feedback from the tutor. Like in my previous education, I went to the exams, finished my exam, failed it, and never knew why I failed it. But at Tomorrow University, you get the feedback, you learn from the feedback, and you can apply it again and like learn from your failures and get better by doing this. But this is just a small part of the app. And studying is so much more than just learning stuff. It's also connecting to others. It's also learning more than maybe it's on the schedule. So we offer also events you can go to, which are not part of your schedule, but you can do them. And we, on the one hand, have students who just do events like Olga. You can go there and learn from her expertise in her area. Or we invite experienced people like Nora in this case. We invite her to our campus. The students can come there and ask her questions, learn from her, and have a great time, and not only learn the things which are in the curriculum. And you also can join for free this event. Just sign up to our app and reserve your free spot, and ask some questions to Nora. And that's basically the basic feature of the app. The only thing I can promise you, if you sign up to the app, it might look different because we work always like every day to make it better, and to make the experience for our students better, and also the future students. And this I hand over to Ellie.
Thank you so much, Richie and Thomas. Every time I hear you speak about Tomorrow University and how we learn and about the app, I get very excited and I want to join again. So I'm Ellie. I'm a graduate from the Master of Science program as well. And I loved my experience so much that when I had an opportunity to join the team, I said, yes, absolutely. I will join Tomorrow University. I now work on the admission side of things, but maybe I can start with a little bit about why I decided to join Tomorrow University. I decided to join Tomorrow University because first, it's a university that fits into my lifestyle and not the other way around. And that was very important to me, that I could still live my life, do the work that I wanted to do, and study to earn my degree. The other aspect that really appealed to me was this real world application. So I realized while I was in the program, and I think I understood before joining, but from the very beginning, from the first moment that you start the program, you can begin to apply your learnings in the real world. So you do not have to wait to apply what you're learning in the program until the end of your program. And I think in the world that we're living in today, this is highly valuable as well. To be able to run with what you're learning, run with the information that you're gaining and the new skill sets, and begin to use them to your advantage in whatever circumstance you're in. So from learning, we have many programs that we offer. I can talk maybe a bit about the admission side of things as well. So we do have quite a few programs, which Richie pointed to. We have our bachelor's programs. We have our Bachelor of Arts in Responsible Entrepreneurship and Management. We have our Bachelor of Science program in AI and Sustainable Technologies. We also have our MBA, our Impact MBA program, which is in Sustainability, Innovation, and Leadership, as well as our Master of Science program in Sustainability, Innovation, and Technology. And there are different eligibility requirements for these programs, depending on which program you're interested in. If you wanted to pop those questions in the Q&A, you can. You can also reach out to us via email. You can reach out to me. I'm Ellie at tomorrow.university, or you can reach out to admissions@tomorrow.university, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, and also set up a call to guide you through the different learning interfaces that we use at Tomorrow University. Now, Thomas Funke and Richie, they've shared one of the learning interfaces, which is our learning app. As you see, you have your core competency dashboard. It's where you'll access all of the lessons and learning content. It's where you can also engage with the community and participate in extracurricular events that we have beyond your program. In addition to that interface, we have two more interfaces that you'll be engaging with at Tomorrow University. The other one is our virtual campus. And the virtual campus is where you will have a weekly live course discussion. Quite often we're asked, I'm going to study alone while I'm in my remote program. And the answer is no, you're actually never alone. You do have a tutor that will support you as you're completing your milestones within the Learning app every step of the way. And then this weekly live course discussion, which usually takes place midweek and in the evenings between usually 6 to 7:30 or so Central European time. This is where you're going to really deepen your learning and build the relationships and network to support you on your learning journey and beyond in your professional life as well. So this is again, our virtual campus, which is called Cosmos. It's a closed campus to our learners only. So it's a really cool concept. We invite you to explore there at some point with us during our info sessions. It does look like a cartoon version of a campus. We have fun things that you can do there, like throw snowballs at each other. We once had a university pet as well, which somehow disappeared. Maybe it ran away. But these are fun little quirks of the technology and how we engage with each other at Tomorrow University. Now, the last learning interface that we engage with is called Slack Community Channel. You may have heard of it. This is really where the entire university comes together. It's where the walls come down, and you can reach out to anyone across any program, alumni as well, and really begin to build your network and engage on topics that you care most about, and hopefully align with what the other learners care about too. It's also where you can connect with your tutors, the program directors, the CEOs, and also our different corporate partners and other academic partners that join us. This is a really great space to have those conversations, to ask those questions, to beta test your ideas, and to build your network in a greater way. So with that, I think I've covered what we offer. I'll just mention one more thing, which is what is the commitment here? We're looking at about an average of 10 hours a week of study time. And we say an average because it really depends on how you learn and how fast you pick up and what other life obligations that you have. But it is a quite autonomous study, so you do have a lot of flexibility and freedom to not only customize what you would like to focus on within your program, but also how you structure your study time. Beyond that, this is the weekly live course discussion is the mandatory aspect. Again, you'll want to take that into consideration. And I would be happy to answer any other questions that you have. If I missed anything, Richie and Thomas, please let me know. Again, if you'd like to reach out to us directly, admissions@tomorrow.university, or directly to me, Ellie@tomorrow.university. I'll hand it over now to Federica for those questions, unless Thomas or Richie would like to add anything.
Yeah, hello again, and thank you so much for this useful presentation. And now we're ready to answer question. So I'll start with the first one. How does the university ensure that its remote-first approach maintains a strong sense of community among students and faculty?
That's a wonderful question, and I think I briefly elaborated on that. So our learning model really focuses on three core pillars, and they all together make the learning experience unique, not one per se. So first, challenge-based learning. It's this way of actively learning. So you not just consume content, you actively apply the content and grow your competencies. That's the number one. Then it's flexible in a sense that you can literally connect from anywhere in the world at any time zone given time you're in. Totally flexible in that sense, flexible in space and time. And then thirdly, it's social. And one of the big misconceptions about remote learning is that it's not social, that it's actually everything but social. So you're socially isolated, you're just engaging with some content and you're clicking through some videos and that's it. However, being united in that diversity also means a strong commitment to making these connections possible. And we do that directly in the curriculum design, meaning that, for example, there are group challenges where you actively work on challenges as a team. But also, every challenge that you do yourself, there is peer feedback involved. So you actually get feedback from your peers. Plus, and this is what Ellie mentioned, there are live sessions. So that's one commitment that we have. We believe in social learning and we believe in active live sessions. We have our metaverse, which is a wonderful campus. It's an online campus where either it's 8 a.m. in the morning in European time zone or it's 6 p.m. in the evening, people get together and actively discuss their work, right? That's the live sessions that is part of every single challenge. That's one session per week as a minimum. If you want, you can attend more of these sessions, right? So if you want to dive even deeper in the community, you can. There's events, for example, going on. There's apart from the live sessions, also challenge related events going on. Mission identification. We have practitioners talking about how they found their mission. So there's a lot of things happening when it comes to the actual challenges, the actual modules, and the actual curriculum. So very directly embedded into the learning model. It's not just active, but it's social. That's the one part. And then secondly, we have a very, very strong focus on the community as a whole. And online is something different than remote first. And we deliberately said it's remote first because we are now at a size where we have several action hubs emerging in certain cities. So in several cities, we have more than 20 to even more than 50 learners that continuously engage in learning sessions together. And this is now, I think, in more than 10 locations where we have these action hubs where learners get together, they carry out certain learning sessions, they meet, sometimes even just social meetups, not necessarily curriculum related. That's that. But then we also have meetups quarterly, where we actually bring together the entire community and the entire community comes together in one place. The last one was in Amsterdam. The one before was in Vienna. So we always pick locations where we invite everybody to come. Nothing of this is mandatory. Nobody has to actually join. You can. So you can immerse yourself into the community and to the social part of it as much as you want to, but you're not forced to go to a specific location. And then the third part, which I think is even the most exciting, you're matched with peers that have a very, very similar motivation. So it's not just a random matchmaking of whoever sits next to you in a lecture hall. You actually have so-called mission groups. You've identified your personal mission and you're matched with people that have a similar mission. Eli, for example, met many people interested in climate change and has built a super strong network in that regard. And this is a mission group that we facilitate. So you actually connect with people that serve as your accountability buddies, that serve as the ones that share a passion, that share a motivation. So on many different levels, we have kind of embedded the social element. Because sometimes, learning or especially remote learning is mistaken as something which is not social. The opposite is possible. In which other learning experience can you connect with a global community, and find people from around the world that share the same passion and mission? And this is, I think, the power of technology. Without that, we wouldn't have that possibility.
Thank you, Thomas. So interesting. And next one. Can you share examples of how Tomorrow University collaborates with industry partners to provide the practical experiences for students?
Yeah, earlier I mentioned the one example of the large logistics company. We also collaborate with startups, not only the bigger cooperations, like for example, big banks. We also work with startups in the sustainability field. One very interesting one is the startup from the Netherlands, which is called Kelp Blue. They actually produce kelp to rewilder the oceans, because that's the possibility to actually store a lot of CO2 and to actually clean the oceans. And they approached us, said, we have this kelp and we're producing it in general to rewilder the ocean. However, kelp can also be used for many different purposes. For example, packaging, it's a very sustainable packaging material. And then the challenge was, what are the different application fields for this solution that we have developed for rewildering the oceans? And then our learners had to find different application fields for that specific technology. We're also working with not that only the startups and the corporates, but also with NGOs, for example. So nonprofit organizations that provide challenges. It's very different. The problem sets are always unique. However, the methodology of the challenge stays the same, right? Sometimes it's developing in a sustainable and innovative business model. Sometimes it's finding alternative application fields for technology. So there's a plethora of different methodologies that are a part of the challenges, but the problem statement always alters because the partners change. And sometimes it's individual challenges that you solve yourself, right? It doesn't have to be a partner's challenge, right? Finding your purpose is very, very unique to yourself. So we ensure that there is this bridge built between the traditional ivory tower of the university and the practitioner's world.
Thank you so much. Next one. How does Tomorrow University support students in customizing their learning path to align with their individuals' missions and career goals?
Richie, do you want to take that from a technology perspective, or should I?
Yes, I can show how you can do it in the app. If it's yeah, we do this. So again, it's me showing the app. As you might, or I didn't show you in the previous demonstration. We just had or saw this modules, but in the later phase, you can see that you can then choose. Like in this case, I already chose what impact certificates or like what journalists I want to do, but I also can choose what I want to do, align it to my mission, and then personalize my learning experience. And maybe you ask yourself, what is my mission? Why am I doing all of this? And this one, I think for me, that's special that a university offers this. But we have a challenge with this mission identification, where you identify your mission, learn what is important to you, and it's a really great start into your university studies to do this, because like before nobody asked me this, and I think it's a really great place to do this. And we directly do it in the beginning.
And to add to this, this is the technology perspective. So we're trying to guide you through this, and at the same time, the program directors / professors, they also serve as guides. They kind of connect with you, and they let you know based on your mission what they think could be a relevant choice for you as an impact certificate in the second phase. So just today, I had a call with a learner who was actually unsure of whether to go in the leadership and transformation direction, to join a bigger corporate, and to really learn how to transform larger organizations and actually go into a leadership position, whether to go into the AI and tech direction, or whether to actually go in the direction of climate accounting. And then we more or less had a 20 to 30-minute conversation where I asked some questions and then he made the decision for himself. So we as mentors, professors, we also guide and help the learners. Apart from the technology helping you to guide, the human part is super important too.
Thank you so much, Richard and Thomas. And next question. Is it possible to study part-time or follow a flexible schedule to balance work, life, and education?
Ili, do you want to take that?
Yes. So it is possible to balance it all, and I can speak from firsthand experience because you have the freedom to customize your study habits and plan. This really allows for maximum flexibility. So as you've seen in the learning app with Richard, what he shared with you, you do have the opportunity to start your lessons when you're available and then continue with them as you see that you have more availability. So for example, from my personal experience, I found that in the morning before everyone woke up, I would do a lesson or two. And in the evening when everyone was sleeping, I would do another lesson or two or whatever assignment was at hand. And this was how I kept my study schedule every day. And before I knew it, I had finished the program. So whatever works best for you is how you can craft your study habits and study plan. I know some other learners in my program, they would choose one day or 2 days where they would dedicate many hours to their study. And then that was it. Those 1 or 2 days would be their study days and the rest were dedicated to other things. So you really have this potential to customize how you study and when you study. Again, the only thing you'll want to bear in mind is this weekly live course discussion that's mandatory. But other than that, you have maximum flexibility and it is designed to be done in parallel with working full time. So this is something that you can look forward to as well. Many of our learners, I think it's 90% plus, are working in full-time positions while studying. So it is quite feasible to do. And I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ellie. And next question. What types of scholarship are available for prospective students and what are the main criteria for selection?
Okay, I can take that, and Thomas, you can add if you'd like. So we have many scholarships that are available for every program. We have essentially 4 categories, or now I think 5, depending on which program, where you can select a category that you feel best matches the impact that you wish to make within the program and beyond the program. So the way that I describe the scholarships is they're awarded based on how well you express your desire to make a positive impact in the world in some way. So ideally, whichever scholarship you would select to apply for, you would make sure that it matches that impact that you wish to make. And we have scholarships available from 2,000 euros up. And so this is something that I definitely encourage you to consider if you're going to apply for a program. And the application requirements are quite straightforward. So you're looking at a 600-word essay submission or a 5-minute video submission, again, expressing how the category that you selected matches with this goal and impact that you wish to make within the program and beyond. So scholarships are available, and when you apply for the program is when you will receive the prompt to apply for the scholarship. Is there anything that you'd like to add, Thomas, or that I missed?
That's wonderful. In general, we always recommend everybody that is interested in the programs to also try for scholarships. So interest in the programs in the university should, of course, come first. And then if you found a program that really suits you, and if you think the learning model really speaks to you, then also have a look at the scholarships and not the other way around, right? So I think the number one fit should be the learning model. We also had some that said, I'm really looking for a scholarship and a degree only, but we always say the motivation should be you learning and evolving as a person. And if that program suits you, if the learning suits you, right? We have some that love reading books and writing exams. Then tomorrow university may not be for you. And then secondly, look into the scholarship and we always recommend try. I mean, yes, we have a selection mechanism. We have criteria based on which we have make our decisions. At the same time, we always want to give everyone the chance.
Thank you so much. And next question. What platforms or tools does Tomorrow University use to deliver its remote-first programs effectively?
Richie, I'll hand that to you.
Yes, I will take it. So basically, there are three tools we use. And the first one I showed you already. That's our app. You can exit it like in any web browser. You can use your phone to exit it, and yeah, can basically learn from everywhere. Then one tool we talked a lot about, but I didn't show you, but I prepared it and I wanted to show you because I think it's really cool. It is Cosmos. Like, where are all our like discussions happening or kickoffs happening, and you can also go there whenever you want. So sometimes learners meet there and learn together. So it looks really nice, and you see like we have different rooms. I can fly to different rooms. You see my person going there, and I'm currently in a room, and in this room we have lectures. You have workshops. Then in this areas outside, and you still see some snowballs there because you can throw snowballs in the space. And yeah, that's basically our online university where you can go anytime, meet other students, and have your discussions. And the third tool is Slack. I don't know if you know it, but it's just like a messenger. You have channels where you can interact with the others. You can write direct messages, or have like short calls if you want to reach out to another student. And that's basically, if I don't forget any tool, the three tools we use.
Thank you. So now a challenging question is how can someone decide between the masters or BMA?
That's a very good question, and actually not that hard to answer, because looking closer at the program, we've designed the MBA really towards the people dedicated to joining mid-sized to larger organization and transforming and leading them. So it starts, of course, with leading yourself. It's a journey of self-leadership, but it should also empower you to lead teams. So we have some that are at the edge of becoming team leaders, or in general have the aspiration of leading a team at some point, become a leader. And towards, as said, we had one that just became a CFO of an IT company that really lead entire organizations. So that's the MBA profile, which is also you being empowered to switch careers if you are already at a working career. The Master of Science that we have goes more in the direction of building things. So you actually learn a lot about the technology when it comes to AI, data science, data analytics. And you can actually enter that career of somebody that actually develops solutions. Typical career outcomes are not only software engineers, but also data analysts, data engineers, all in that direction. So everything related to, and this is one of the things that is incredibly vital, highly sought after from the market, people that really understand everything about data and AI. But then also not just understanding it, but being capable of building things. And that's, for example, the bachelor in AI, but then also the master of science that we have with different pathways. So the one speaks more to the people that want to create solutions, build solutions. That's the master of science. And then the other empowers you to rather lead and transform organizations.
Thank you. Now, thanks for this webinar. What future developments or programs can we expect from Tomorrow University to further its missions in sustainable education?
There are a lot of things in the making, which is wonderful, and I think also our core advantage, because it's not that we're young anymore. So we have a history, but at the same time, we're very dynamic. So we're, for example, launching soon a Master of Arts in Psychology at the beginning of next year. So we go more in that direction. So that's on the program spectrum. You'll see more programs in the making. So already quite a lot of programs that we have, but we will broaden our program just to give everybody the chance, depending on their very special interests, to join. That's the one thing. But then also technology-wise, we go in very different directions. We now have the possibility to study in your mother tongue while learning English, for example. So that's one thing that we also have later in the year available. Not yet, but later in the year. So if you, for example, wanted to study in your language while at the same time learning English in 2026, that's a possibility that you have at Tomorrow University. So just to give you a bit of an idea.
Thank you. And last question, do you have PhD programs?
Not yet. So we have bachelor's, master's, and MBA. No PhD programs yet, and that's also something that we may consider having, but in 5 to 10 years. So we're a University of Applied Sciences. We don't have PhD programs yet, as we don't have the offering of that strongly scientific career, but more the applying part of knowledge in the real world.
Thank you so much. So time is running out very quickly. So unfortunately, we don't have enough time to answering more questions, but don't worry, because we will send you an email to the participants with the recording of this webinar. And first of all, I want to thank our fantastic guests for the interesting conversation and presentation, and thank everyone for joining us and for your questions. I'd like to remind everyone who are interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by WeUni that you can click on the link that we are sending in the chat right now and request it. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to ask our panelists if they would like to leave our participants with a message.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Better if you found interesting what we do. I think one of the most important things that I personally learned is whenever you join any institution or start any learning journey, really choose the people that you want to join and really follow your passion and interest, right? If that is not reflected, I mean, you can train for skills, you can train for competencies, but you can't give people the fire, which is the attitude and the passion. So that should come from you, and you should really feel attracted to the people and the programs. So I hope you'll find that. And if you found it, then you find the institution where you can actually turn that into action.
Thank you so much. And so thank again to our speakers and everyone connected with us today. And I hope to see you again in the next webinar organized by WeUni. Bye everyone, and have a nice day.